Tyler Payments has just been amazing, the efficiencies that we've gained through Tyler Payments. So when a payment comes in, whether it's through point of sale, through cashiering, or online through resident access or utility access, or even an IVR phone payment, we can see that payment instantaneously.
From Tyler Technologies, this is the Tyler Tech Podcast, where we explore the trends, technologies, and people shaping the public sector. I'm your host, Josh Henderson. Thanks so much for joining us. In this episode, recorded live at Tyler Connect 2025 in San Antonio, we're highlighting how modernizing everyday processes can have a powerful impact on government operations. For the city of Madison, Wisconsin, updating its payment systems wasn't just about making transactions easier. It was about improving security, reducing complexity, and creating a better experience for both residents and staff. Joining us to share how the city achieved that transformation is Jeff Dempsey, financial systems analyst for the city of Madison and a 2025 Tyler Excellence Award winner. Jeff has so many great things to share, so let's dive right in. Jeff, congrats to you and to the city of Madison for the TEA win. And thanks for joining me on the Tyler Tech Podcast today.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm excited to be here, and thanks for congratulating us on the award. It was really a great honor to receive the Tyler Excellence Award.
Of course, and very well deserved as well. So
thank you.
Let's start with where this journey began. So Can you tell me what were some of the key challenges Madison was facing with its previous payment processing systems and resident portals?
Yeah, definitely. So our previous payment processor, there was definitely limitations, largely due to the hardware that we were using with it. Limitations to the point where we had fallen out of PCI compliance briefly. So we definitely had to make a change when it came to our payment processor. We use Tyler Cashiering as well. It's one of the many Tyler products that we use at the city of Madison. And at that point in time, and I think even to this day, your options for the payment processor you use in conjunction with the newer versions of cashiering are somewhat limited. So we definitely explored the various options, but after reviewing the options, Tyler Payments was a no-brainer for us. That was the way to go. So was really what drove our payment change. Getting back into PCI compliance. That was the main motivating factor there. As far as the customer portals, we had online payment portals. But after we updated our payment processor, we were also in the midst of transitioning our utility billing and tax billing over to EERP. So right around the same time, this was like 2022, when we went live with utility billing and tax billing in EERP, we went ahead and stood up the resident access and utility access portals. And those are far better than their predecessors that we were using at the city.
Now let's kind of build on what you have just mentioned there with my next question. But when you decided it was time to modernize, what were your main goals for the new solution? And what did you want to make better, both internally and for your residents?
Yeah, great question. Well, the PCI compliance piece was obviously a huge one. So, PCI compliance, it ensures security for the customers. It's a much more secure way for them to pay. So that was definitely one of the driving things we were trying to achieve was, a more secure payment option for our customers, and internally always seeking to find efficiencies. And that was really one of the big reasons we went with Tyler Payments, was because of the streamlined, seamless integration with EERP.
And now let's talk about that implementation a little bit. How did that process go, and what lessons would you share about getting started with a project like this?
Sure. Yeah, implementation. So there's a few things going on there. One was implementing Tyler Payments. I have to say that went extremely smooth. It was almost easy, one of the easier implementations I've ever been involved in. There was a little bit of training on the features and understanding how it worked, like a day maybe of training. And then doing the cut over, because we first went live with the payments with Tyler Cashiering. So that was a little tricky just because it involved installing new hardware. We have 50 cashiering stations scattered all the way around throughout the city. So we had to go off, to all the various remote sites and, install the new credit card readers, which wasn't difficult. It was just kind of a lot of logistics and coordinating. As far as people looking to take on this type of project, it's just important to involve all the stakeholders very early on, have a very clear timeline and plan, make sure everybody knows what they're responsible for, just coordinating with everybody involved. I work for the finance department, but we also had to involve our IT department for a lot of it. And of course, Tyler Technologies support folks. So that's mainly with the payments, implementing that utility billing or transitioning our utility billing and tax billing. That was a whole nother animal. Those were more labor intensive implementations. They were like year-long projects or longer. The utility billing in particular, it took us almost 3 years from start to go live. And there was a lot of reasons for that. One, our utility billing is pretty complex. It's for water. We don't bill for electricity or gas. It's just primarily water, but we call it a municipal services bill because we're also billing for other various services. So building out all of the coding within ERP is just a lot of work. So it's really complex. But the payments implementation, on the other hand, that was really smooth. And then standing up the resident access and utility access portals, again, that was extremely, easy, I would say. Those portals are very intuitive and user-friendly, both from an end user or customer's point of view and from an administrative point of view. The setup and administration of those portals is pretty simple.
Right. Yeah. I feel like, you hear that a lot. It's like, sometimes you got to take baby steps. Sometimes, you have to understand that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, right? When you're updating legacy systems, it does take some time, but the payoff ultimately is what you're looking at.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with more of the Tyler Tech Podcast. Big news, Tyler Connect 2026 is heading to Las Vegas.
Join us April 7th through April 10th at the Venetian Resort, Las Vegas for an unforgettable week of learning, collaboration, and connection.
Connect unites public sector professionals to explore new Tyler solutions and to spark ideas that strengthen and empower communities.
And now's your chance to save $250 with early bird pricing.
Don't wait to lock in your spot at this year's premier public sector conference.
Visit tylertech.com/connect to register today or click the link in our show notes.
We'll see you at Tyler Connect 2026, where we empower, collaborate, and imagine what's possible for the public sector in Vegas.
Now let's get back to the Tyler Tech Podcast.
Obviously, too, this wasn't just about internal efficiency, working in government. It's about the residents.
Yes.
That's ultimately what you're making these changes for. So in terms of resident convenience and making that front and center, what are some of the ways this new system has made it easier for community members to make payments?
Yeah, it's great. So in addition to the online payment portals, so for utility billing, it's Utility Access is an online payment platform. In addition to that, we also have IVR phone lines, so interactive voice recognition, I think it stands for, IVR. So they can pay by phone if they want. And that's, feeds into the Tyler payments. But the utility access portal in particular is, in my opinion, extremely easy to use. It's intuitive, as I mentioned before. Yeah, so it's just a very convenient and now a much more secure way for our customers to pay. And there's some great features in that utility access portal. We also use the Tyler Smart Meter feature, which will provide a graph of your household's or water consumption that you can view daily, almost real-time data. You can see and you can set up alerts for consumption threshold alerts or leak alerts. You can set up auto pay. You can schedule a payment through there. So it's just a great, and well, let me add this. The numbers speak to how our customers feel about it because the adoption has been immense. We have roughly 80,000 utility billing customers. I just looked this morning before I headed over, and we're averaging 44,000 payments per month through that portal, and 40,000 of those are auto pay customers. Prior to transitioning over to utility access and utility billing through EERP, we had under 20,000 customers on auto pay. So in a matter of 2-3 years, we've more than doubled the amount of customers that are on auto pay. So I think that speaks largely to how our customers feel about it. Just the heavy use and adoption of it.
Yeah,
speaks volumes.
And you mentioned the graph for water consumption, and back home where I am from in Maine, I have that for my water bill, and my wife and I were able to identify, the water bill is going up every month. there must be something wrong here. And
Yes.
identified where that problem was. We fixed it, and now our water bill graph has gone
Nice.
down. So it's nice to see that visually as
Yeah.
well. But I'm curious to hear from you what kind of feedback you've heard from residents and how these changes have improved their overall experience.
Yeah, I won't lie. Change is always hard. Some of our customers at the outset, we received some negative feedback, but it didn't have anything to do with the technology so much as the inconvenience of having to re-enroll and auto pay and learn how to use a new portal.
Change is hard.
It's always hard. So change management is always a big part of any sort of implementation project, both internally and externally. We did our best to communicate in advance, well in advance, putting inserts into people's bills, putting stuff out on their city websites to inform people that this change was coming. But nevertheless, people complain about it and grumble. But that was pretty short-lived. Once people kind of got settled and started using the new portal, since then it's been good. We receive primarily positive feedback. People have actually thanked us for, improving the online customer portal experience.
It's great. It's got to feel real good.
It does.
The good stuff, maybe not so much. The bad stuff,
Yeah. It's all part of it.
Yes, absolutely. You work in government, I'm sure. It's
That's right.
Yeah, both sides of the coin. On the internal side, though, what impact has this had on your teams and processes, and how has this implementation and integration improved day-to-day operations for you in Madison?
Yeah, Tyler Payments it's just been amazing, the efficiencies that we've gained through Tyler Payments. It's that integration and that streamline. So when a payment comes in, whether it's through point of sale, through cashiering, or online through resident access or utility access, or even an IVR phone payment, we can see that payment instantaneously flow into EERP. So it makes cash management and reconciliation just so much simpler. I mentioned the increase in our utility billing customers that are using auto pay. I mean, that alone, it's hard to put a precise number on it, but that's, going from 20,000 to 40,000, that's half of our customers on auto pay. That creates a huge amount of time savings, because previously those payments would have either been people coming in, paying in person, and that takes time, a couple minutes to process that transaction. A lot of them would have been coming in through a middleware system. Our IT set up middleware with the legacy system that would basically generate an output file of payments that had been received the prior day. And then somebody would either manually key that into cashiering, or sometimes we would use a lockbox import file. So point being, increasing our auto-pay customers by that much has just saved a ton of time. I would easily hundreds of hours per year of labor hours are being saved just by making this switch over to Tyler Payments and utility access.
Yeah, that's new to me to hear that autopay is ultimately a huge time saver for your team, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's great to hear. It's great to hear. Now, to sort of wrap things up, Jeff, as you look to the future, how do you see Madison continuing to benefit from this integrated ecosystem, and what advice would you give to others considering similar projects?
Sure. Well, we're always looking to, wherever possible, kind of eliminate third-party systems, and we have departments using various softwares, so we're always examining that and seeing if we could possibly transition that over into a Munis module. So we're always looking for opportunities like that to gain efficiency, and eliminating third-party software is beneficial to the city, to IT. It's less, software vendors we have to negotiate with and deal with, less platforms that need to be maintained. So we're always looking for opportunities to roll more stuff into the Tyler umbrella. Good example, another thing, we recently stood up vendor access, which has been pretty cool. We're still in the early stages, but it's fully live, and our vendors are adopting it a lot, and we're allowing them to submit invoices to us through the portal, and I think the vendors really appreciate that. And that's just another example of efficiencies that we're gaining by using Tyler's products. As far as advice for people that want to undertake a project like this, just do your homework. Definitely look at options that are out there, but sometimes the best option is the option you already have. And for us, that's Tyler and EERP.
Jeff, thanks so much for sharing Madison's story today.
Yeah.
Congratulations again on your Tyler Excellence Award, and yeah, we hope to have you back on the show at some point in the future.
It would be my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
As we heard today, modernizing payment systems is about far more than upgrading hardware or updating portals. For the city of Madison, it meant creating a secure, reliable, and user-friendly experience that meets residents' expectations while giving staff the tools they need to work more efficiently. Jeff shared how streamlining payments, strengthening PCI compliance, and integrating service portals have helped Madison simplify operations, reduce manual workloads, and deliver better service across the community. It's the kind of thoughtful modernization that earned the city a 2025 Tyler Excellence Award. If you'd like to learn more about the solutions we discussed today, check out the show notes for additional resources, and we'd love to hear your feedback. Fill out the listener survey linked in the notes, or reach out anytime at podcast@tylertech.com. And be sure to subscribe, rate, and review the show so you never miss an episode. For Tyler Technologies, I'm Josh Henderson. Thanks for listening to the Tyler Tech Podcast.